Sunday, July 17th, 2022. Greenwood, Indiana. It's a warm summer evening. The Greenwood Park Mall, just south of Indianapolis, is packed. Families are eating dinner in the food court. Kids are laughing. Couples are shopping. Just another ordinary Sunday night. Nobody in that building knows that a 20-year-old man has been hiding in the food court bathroom for over an hour. And nobody knows that he walked into that mall carrying 2 rifles, a pistol, and more than 100 rounds of ammunition. In the next 60 seconds, 3 people will be dead. 2 more will be shot. And the only thing standing between that gunman and a massacre will be a 22-year-old kid who was just there to go shopping with his girlfriend. This is the story of the 15 seconds that saved dozens of lives. Let's get into it. His name was Jonathan Sapperman, 20 years old, a local Greenwood resident whose life was falling apart. He'd quit his warehouse job back in May. His family had cut him off financially, and just days before, he'd gotten an eviction notice. He was a young man with nothing left to lose and a dark obsession with mass killers. At around 4:54 that afternoon, Sapperman walked a mile from his apartment to the mall. He didn't even drive. He entered through the doors closest to the food court, and he walked straight into a restroom. And then he waited for 1 hour and 2 minutes. Inside that bathroom, he was preparing. Police would later find that he'd put his cell phone in a toilet before coming out. He'd already burned his laptop in his apartment oven. He was erasing himself, getting ready. At 5:56 p.m., he stepped out of that restroom with the Sig Sauer rifle, and he opened fire. The first victim was 30-year-old Victor Gomez, shot just outside the bathroom. Then Sapperman turned his rifle toward the food court, where a married couple, Pedro Pineda, 56, and his wife Rosa, 37, were sitting down, eating dinner. He gunned them both down where they sat. The food court erupted into chaos, people screaming, tables flipping, a stampede of hundreds of people trampling over each other, running for the exits. Witnesses said it sounded like pop, 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 over and over. A 22-year-old woman was hit in the leg. A 12-year-old girl was struck by a ricochet. Sapperman had over 100 rounds. He had 2 rifles. He was just getting started. In any other mass shooting, this is the part where the body count climbs into the dozens, because the average police response time to an active shooter is 3 to 4 minutes. And when a killer is firing every couple of seconds, 3 minutes is a lifetime. But this time, there was someone in that mall the shooter never accounted for. His name was Elisjsha Dicken, 22 years old, from Seymour, Indiana. He was at the mall that evening shopping with his girlfriend. He had no military training, no police background, nothing. He'd been taught how to shoot by his grandfather, and he was legally carrying a concealed Glock handgun. When the gunfire started, Dicken didn't run. He didn't freeze. He moved. He took cover, drew his pistol, and started motioning for terrified people to get behind him toward the exits. And then he did something that firearms experts still talk about to this day. From roughly 40 yards away, that's the length of a basketball court, Dicken opened fire on the shooter with nothing but a handgun. He fired 10 rounds. He hit Sapperman 8 times. 8 out of 10. From 40 yards, with the pistol. Under the most extreme pressure a human being can face. The shooter went down. He tried to stagger back toward the bathroom he came from. He collapsed, and he died right there on the floor. The entire thing, from the first shot Sapperman fired to the moment Dicken took him down, lasted just 15 seconds. 15 seconds. When it was over, Dicken didn't run. He walked up to mall security, calmly told them he was the one who'd stopped the shooter, and he waited for the police to arrive. When officers got there, the threat was already over. A 22-year-old civilian had already ended it before the first squad car pulled up. Greenwood Police Chief James Eisen didn't hold back at the press conference. He called Dicken's actions, quote, nothing short of heroic. He said Dicken was tactically sound, that he engaged from a distance, and that he moved people to safety the entire time. And he said there was no doubt in his mind. Elisjsha Dicken saved many, many lives that night. The Johnson County Prosecutor's Office reviewed the shooting and ruled it completely lawful. Dicken was never charged. The mayor of Greenwood called him the city's Good Samaritan. Politicians across the country praised him. He'd done what trained professionals trained their whole lives for. And he did it in 15 seconds with the pistol at 22 years old. Now here's what makes this story so important and why people still argue about it today. For years, there's been a fierce national debate. One side says an armed civilian can't actually stop a mass shooter, that it's a myth, that it just adds more chaos. The other side says the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And on July 17th, 2022, in a crowded Indiana mall, that debate stopped being theoretical, because a heavily armed killer with over 100 rounds was taken down in 15 seconds by a young man who just happened to be there and just happened to be ready. We'll never know exactly how many people would have died if Elisjsha Dicken hadn't been in that mall that night. 20? 30? More? The shooter certainly had the firepower for it. What we do know is this. 3 innocent people lost their lives that evening. Victor, Pedro, and Rosa. And countless others went home to their families because one ordinary man made an extraordinary choice in the most terrifying moment of his life. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If you were in that food court, unarmed, watching a gunman open fire, would you want someone like Elisjsha Dicken standing nearby? Or not? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story hit you, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button because we uncover the chaos the headlines leave behind. New stories every week. I'll see you in the next one.